Captain Jake Morrison walked across the bridge of the UES Voyager. The ship had been flying through space for 3 months now. It was the first human ship to travel this far from Earth. Jake looked out at the stars and felt proud. His crew of 47 people were making history. The Voyager was not a warship. It was built for exploration. They wanted to find new worlds and maybe meet other life forms. The ship had strong shields and some weapons, but nothing too powerful. Jake hoped they would never need to use them. Lisa Bennett sat at her station, watching the radio signals. She was the ship's communications officer. Her job was to listen for any messages from space. Most of the time, she only heard static and noise from distant stars, but today something was different. "Captain Morrison," Lisa called out. Her voice sounded excited. "I'm getting a signal." "It's not from Earth." Jake walked over to her station. Other crew members turned to look. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. First contact with alien life. "What kind of signal?" Jake asked. Lisa put the sound through the ship's speakers. Everyone heard a pattern of beeps and clicks. It repeated over and over. The pattern was clear and organized. It was not random noise. "It's coming from the Zeta Reticuli system," Lisa said. "About 2 days' travel from here." Danny Rodriguez, the chief engineer, shook his head. "Captain, we don't have much fuel left. If we go there, we might not make it back to Earth." Jake thought about this. The mission was important, but so was getting his crew home safely. He looked at the faces around him. They all wanted to investigate the signal. "What do you think it means?" Jake asked Lisa. She played the signal again. "The math is too perfect. To be natural, someone is sending this on purpose. And Captain, the pattern looks like a distress call." Dr. Amy Walsh stepped forward. She was the ship's doctor and scientist. "If someone is in trouble, we have to help them." "That's what humans do." Jake nodded. Amy was right. They came out here to explore and make friends. If aliens were asking for help, they could not ignore it. "Danny, can we make it there and back?" Jake asked. The engineer looked at his numbers. "It will be tight, but yes, we can do it if we're careful." Jake made his decision. "Set course for the signal. We're going to help whoever sent it." The crew got busy preparing for the journey. Steve Collins, the navigator, plotted their course. Kate Phillips checked the weapons systems. Just in case, Dr. Walsh prepared the medical bay for possible patients. 2 days later, they arrived at the Zeta Reticuli system. The signal was coming from a small moon around a gas giant. The moon was gray and lifeless, with no air to breathe. "I'm seeing something on the surface," Steve reported. "It looks like a crashed ship." Jake ordered the landing party to get ready. He would take Dr. Walsh, 2 security officers, and Lisa with him. The rest of the crew would stay on the Voyager. They put on their space suits and took a small shuttle down to the moon. The crashed ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was made of a strange silver metal that seemed to glow in the dim light. The ship was badly damaged, with holes in the hull and broken parts scattered around. "Life signs," Dr. Walsh said, looking at her scanner. 3 of them. They're alive but weak. They entered the alien ship through a hole in the side. Inside, they found 3 creatures unlike anything from Earth. They were small, about 4 feet tall, with large eyes and thin bodies. Their skin was pale gray and they looked very fragile. One of the aliens tried to speak, but the sounds made no sense. Lisa activated the universal translator they had brought. After a few minutes, the device began to work. "Please," the alien said. His voice was weak and scared. "Help us, we are dying." Dr. Walsh immediately began checking the aliens for injuries. They had burns and cuts from the crash. She gave them water and basic medical care. "What happened to you?" Jake asked gently. The alien who had spoken pointed to himself. "I am Zefka. We are Colorians. Our world is gone. The hegemony destroyed everything." Jake did not understand. "What is the hegemony?" Zefka's large eyes filled with tears. "They are the hunters. They travel from world to world, killing everyone who will not serve them. Our people tried to hide, but they found us. They burned our cities and killed our families. We were the only ones who escaped." Dr. Walsh finished treating the aliens. They'll live, but they need better medical care than I can give them here. Jake looked at the three survivors. They were so small and helpless. It was hard to believe that anyone would want to hurt them. Where can we take you? Jake asked. Somewhere safe? Zefka shook his head sadly. There is nowhere safe. The hegemony controls this entire part of space. They will find us again. Not if we have anything to say about it, Jake said firmly. We'll take you with us. Earth is far from here. You'll be safe there. The three Calorians looked at each other with hope for the first time. They had been running and hiding for so long. Maybe these strange new beings could really help them. As they prepared to leave the crashed ship, Lisa's radio crackled with a message from the Voyager. Captain, we have a problem. 3 large ships just appeared on our sensors. They're heading this way fast. Jake's heart sank. Hegemony ships? Zefka nodded, fear returning to his eyes. They followed us. They always follow us. Captain Morrison, you must run. If they find you helping us, they will kill you too. But Jake Morrison was not the type of man to run from a fight, especially when innocent lives were at stake. He looked at his crew and the alien survivors. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. Get everyone back to the ship, he ordered. Now. Jake Morrison and his team rushed back to their shuttle with the 3 Calorian survivors. Dr. Walsh helped the wounded aliens while Jake contacted the Voyager. Steve, get us ready to leave fast, Jake ordered through his radio. How long until those ships reach us? 20 minutes, Captain, Steve replied from the bridge. Maybe less. The shuttle lifted off from the moon's surface and flew toward the Voyager. Jake looked back at the 3 aliens. They were shaking with fear. Tell me about these hegemony ships, Jake said to Zefka. How dangerous are they? Zefka's voice was barely a whisper. Each ship carries 1,000 warriors. They have weapons that can destroy entire cities. Captain Morrison, your ship is brave, but it cannot fight them. You must run. Jake felt anger building in his chest. These aliens had done nothing wrong, yet they were being hunted like animals. We don't abandon people in need, he said firmly. The shuttle docked with the Voyager just as the 3 hegemony ships came into view. They were huge, dark vessels that looked like flying weapons. Each one was 3 times larger than the Voyager. Captain on the bridge, someone called out as Jake arrived. His crew was already at battle stations. What's our status? Jake asked. Kate. Phillips, the weapons officer, looked worried. Our shields are up, but Captain, we're built for exploration, not war. Those ships have enough firepower to destroy us 10 times over. Danny Rodriguez spoke up from his engineering station. I can give you full power to engines or weapons, but not both. We have to choose. Jake studied the alien ships on the main screen. They were moving slowly, like predators stalking their prey. Try to communicate with them, he told Lisa. Lisa worked at her station and then shook her head. They're not responding to any of our signals, Captain. It's like they don't care what we have to say. On the bridge, Dr. Walsh was helping the 3 Calorians. Zefka struggled to sit up and look at the screen. That is the Destroyer of Worlds, Zefka said, pointing to the largest ship. Commander Vex Prime leads it. He has killed millions of my people. Jake made a decision. Open a channel to all 3 ships. Maybe we can talk our way out of this, Lisa nodded. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earthship Voyager, Jake announced. We are on a peaceful mission. We have survivors aboard who need medical attention. We mean no harm to anyone. The response came quickly. A harsh voice filled the bridge. Primitive species, you are harboring enemies of the hegemony. Surrender the fugitives immediately or be destroyed. Jake looked at the 3 small aliens. They were terrified but trying to be brave. These beings have done nothing wrong. They're refugees, not enemies. The hegemony decides who lives and who dies, the voice replied. You have 1 minute to surrender them, or we will take them from your wreckage. Jake turned to his crew. Every face showed the same determination. They would not give up the innocent aliens. Danny, give me everything we have, Jake ordered. Kate, prepare all weapons. Steve, plot a course out of here. Captain, Zefka said weakly, they will not let you leave. The hegemony never lets anyone escape who has seen their faces. The minute passed. The 3 hegemony ships moved closer, surrounding the Voyager. Jake could see weapon ports opening on their hulls. This is your last chance, the alien voice said. Surrender or die. Jake stood up straight. This is Captain Morrison. We will not surrender innocent people to murderers. If you want them, you'll have to go through us. The lead hegemony ship fired first. A beam of red energy struck the Voyager's shields. The ship shook hard, throwing people to the floor. Shields down to 60%, Kate reported. Return fire. Jake ordered. The Voyager's weapons hit the enemy ship, but barely scratched its armor. The other 2 ships opened fire. More energy beams hammered the human vessel. Shields failing, Danny called out. We can't take much more of this. Jake realized they were going to lose this fight. The hegemony ships were too powerful. But he had one last card to play. Lisa, prepare a message drone, he ordered. Record everything that happened here. Include all the data about these ships and their weapons. Captain? Lisa asked. Send it to Earth. Tell them what we found out here. Tell them about the hegemony and what they do to innocent people. Lisa worked quickly as the ship shook around them. Message ready, Captain? Launch it, Jake ordered. The small drone shot out from the Voyager and disappeared into hyperspace. The hegemony ships were too busy attacking to notice it. All hands, this is the captain, Jake announced over the ship's communication system. We came out here to explore and make friends. We found people who needed help, and we tried to help them. That's what humans do. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. Another blast hit the ship. Sparks flew from damaged controls. Keep fighting, Jake told his crew. Show them what Earth is made of. The battle continued for 2 more hours. The Voyager's crew fought with everything they had. Kate kept firing until the weapon systems failed. Danny kept the engines running until the power systems died. Steve plotted escape routes until the navigation was destroyed. In the end, the hegemony ships were barely damaged while the Voyager was dying. But Jake's crew had not given up. They had shown the aliens that humans would fight for what was right, even against impossible odds. Captain, Lisa said with her last breath, the message got through. Earth will know. Jake nodded and looked at Zefka one last time. Remember us, he said. Remember that someone cared enough to fight for you. The Voyager's final explosion lit up the dark space around the small moon. The hegemony ships remained, victorious but somehow changed. They had never seen anyone fight so hard for strangers before. Commander Vex Prime stared at the debris field. What were those creatures? He asked his officers. The data says they called themselves humans, one replied. They came from a world called Earth. Vex Prime made a note in his records. Find this Earth. These humans might be more dangerous than they appear. The hunter had become interested in new prey, but he had no idea what he had just awakened. The message drone from the Voyager traveled through space for 6 months before reaching Earth. It arrived at the Luna Communications Station on a quiet Tuesday morning. Officer Tim Baker was working the night shift when his computer started beeping. A new signal had come in from deep space. Tim had been doing this job for 5 years, but he had never seen anything like this. This is strange, Tim said to himself. He opened the message and saw Captain Morrison's face on the screen. If you are receiving this, then the Voyager and her crew are gone, Morrison's recorded voice said. We found alien life, but not the kind we hoped for. They call themselves the hegemony, and they are killers. Tim's hands shook as he watched the rest of the message. The recording showed the alien ships attacking the Voyager. It showed the 3 small refugees who had asked for help. It showed brave humans dying to protect innocent lives. Alert all stations, Tim said into his radio. We have a code red message from deep space. Get me Admiral Carter right now. Admiral Helen Carter was sleeping in her quarters when the call came in. She was the head of Earth Space Command, responsible for all human ships in space. She had sent the Voyager on its mission 3 years ago. Admiral Carter here, she answered. Ma'am, you need to see this message from the Voyager. It's urgent. Helen got dressed quickly and drove to the command center. She watched Morrison's final message 3 times. Each time, her anger grew stronger. How many people have seen this? She asked Tim. Just me and the communications team. We locked it down like protocol says. Good. Send copies to the President, the Defense Secretary, and all the military leaders. Schedule an emergency meeting for 6 hours from now. Helen spent the next few hours studying every detail of the message. She analyzed the alien ships, their weapons, and their behavior. What she learned made her very worried that the hegemony was not just another alien species. They were conquerors who destroyed entire worlds for fun. They had been doing it for hundreds of years, and now they knew where Earth was. President Ryan Davis arrived at the Pentagon 6 hours later. He brought the world's most important leaders with him. They all gathered in the secure briefing room. "Show them the message," Admiral Carter said. The room was silent as they watched Captain Morrison's final transmission. When it ended, everyone started talking at once. "How many ships do they have?" asked General Patricia Stone. "The message shows at least 12 different species working together," Admiral Carter replied. "We estimate they have thousands of warships. What about our defenses?" President Davis asked. "We have 47 ships total," Admiral Carter said. "Most are exploration vessels like the Voyager. Only 12 are actual warships." The room fell quiet. Everyone understood the problem. Earth was not ready for war. "How long do we have?" President Davis asked. "Unknown," Admiral Carter said. "They might come tomorrow or they might wait years, but they will come. The message data shows they always hunt down anyone who defies them." Secretary of Defense Bill Murphy spoke up. "What are our options?" Admiral Carter had been thinking about this all morning. "We have 2 choices. We can try to hide and hope they never find us, or we can prepare for war." "Hide," General Stone said angrily. "These aliens killed our people. They hunt innocent species across the galaxy. We don't hide from bullies." President Davis nodded. "Helen, what would we need to build a real defense?" Admiral Carter pulled up charts on the big screen. "We need to build at least 1,000 warships. We need new weapons and better shields. We need to train 1 million soldiers. And we need to do it all in 2 years. Is that even possible?" President Davis asked. General Stone smiled grimly. "Mr. President, when humans put our minds to something, we can do anything. Remember World War II? We built the largest military in history in less than 4 years. This is different," Secretary Murphy said. "We're not fighting other humans. We're fighting aliens with technology we don't understand." "We have their technology now," Admiral Carter said. "The Voyager's sensors recorded everything. We know how their weapons work. We know their weaknesses." Dr. Alan Foster, the science advisor, had been quiet until now. "Admiral, the message shows something important. These aliens have never fought anyone like us before. They're used to hunting weak prey, not facing real warriors." "What do you mean?" President Davis asked. "Look at the battle recording," Dr. Foster said. "The Voyager was outnumbered and outgunned, but it fought for 2 hours. The aliens expected an easy victory. Instead, they got a real fight." Admiral Carter understood. "They underestimated us. They think we're just another weak species. Then we use that," General Stone said. "We let them think we're weak while we prepare for war." President Davis made his decision. "We're not going to hide. We're going to fight." "Admiral Carter, you have unlimited resources. Build me a fleet that can protect Earth and free every world these aliens have conquered." "Yes, sir," Admiral Carter said. The meeting continued for 6 more hours. They planned the largest military buildup in human history. Every nation on Earth would contribute. Every factory would build weapons. Every person would play a part. As the leaders left the meeting, Admiral Carter looked at Captain Morrison's frozen image on the screen. "Jake, your crew didn't die for nothing. We're going to make sure the galaxy knows that humans protect the innocent." Within 24 hours, every military base on Earth was working around the clock. Shipyards that had been building cargo vessels started making warships. Scientists, who had been studying peaceful technology, started designing weapons. The news finally reached the public 1 week later. President Davis spoke to the world from the White House. "My fellow humans," he said, "we are not alone in the universe. We have learned that there are other species among the stars, some peaceful and some hostile. We have also learned that evil exists in space, just as it does on Earth." He told them about the Voyager and her brave crew. He told them about the hegemony and their crimes. He told them about the choice Earth had to make. "We will not hide," President Davis declared. "We will not submit. We will build a fleet that can protect not just Earth, but every innocent world in the galaxy. We will show the universe that humanity stands for justice." The response was immediate. Millions of people volunteered for military service. Factories worked day and night building ships and weapons. Earth had decided to go to war, but this would not be a war of conquest. This would be a war of liberation. The hunters were about to learn what it meant to face the fury of an awakened Deathworld. 2 years after the Voyager's message reached Earth, the solar system looked completely different. Where once there had been peaceful space stations and cargo ships, now there were military bases and warships everywhere. Admiral Helen Carter stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, the largest warship humanity had ever built. Around her ship, 1,100 other vessels waited in formation. Each one was designed for a single purpose: to destroy the enemies of peace. "Admiral," Communications Officer Tony Clark reported, "we're getting signals from the edge of the system. 3 large ships just came out of hyperspace." Admiral Carter smiled coldly. "Right on schedule. The Hegemony Collection Fleet has arrived." For 2 years, Earth's intelligence services had been tracking hegemony movements. They learned that the aliens always sent a collection fleet to new worlds. These fleets were designed to capture slaves and resources from primitive species. "How many ships?" Admiral Carter asked. 3 vessels, just like our intelligence predicted," Tony replied. "Each one matches the design from the Voyager's data." Commander Nick Thompson, captain of the UES Reaper, contacted the Admiral from his ship. "Admiral Carter, my pilots are ready." "Should we move to intercept?" "Not yet, Nick. Let them come too. Usos, I want them to see what they're facing." The 3 hegemony ships moved toward Earth slowly. They were the same type that had destroyed the Voyager? Large, dark vessels covered in weapons. But today, they were not facing a lone exploration ship. "Admiral, the lead ship is trying to communicate," Tony reported. "Put them through," Admiral Carter ordered. The main screen showed an alien face. It was ugly and cruel, with small eyes and sharp teeth. This was Commander Vex Prime, the same alien who had killed Captain Morrison and his crew. "Primitive species," Vex Prime said in his harsh voice. "I am Commander Vex Prime of the Hegemony. You will surrender your world immediately. We know you have harbored enemies of the Hegemony." Admiral Carter stepped forward. "I am Admiral Helen Carter of the United Earth Defense Force. You murdered 47 of our people 2 years ago. You killed innocent refugees. You made a big mistake." Vex Prime laughed. "Your single ship fought bravely before it died. But you are still primitives. We have come to collect your world. You have one chance to surrender." "I have a better idea," Admiral Carter said. "You have one chance to leave our system and never return. If you don't, we will destroy you." The alien commander looked confused. "You threaten us? You are one species against the might of the Hegemony. We have conquered 1,000 worlds." "Then you've never met humans before," Admiral Carter replied. "Let me show you what you're really facing." She gave a signal to her fleet. One by one, the human warships turned on their lights. The space around Earth lit up like a Christmas tree. 1,100 warships revealed themselves, each one bigger and more powerful than the old Voyager. Vex Prime's face changed. His cruel smile disappeared. "This is impossible. Our scouts said you were primitives." "Your scouts were wrong," Admiral Carter said. "We are humans. We come from a death world. We have survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and global wars. We have fought and conquered every challenge our planet could throw at us. And now we're going to teach you what real warriors look like. The hegemony commander tried to sound brave. 3 ships are nothing against our forces. We will call for reinforcements. Go ahead, Admiral Carter said. Call all the ships you want. Bring your entire fleet. We'll destroy them all. Captain Sarah Kim, flying the fighter ship Lightning, spoke over the radio. Admiral, request permission to show them what our pilots can do. Permission granted, Sarah. Show them humanity's fury. 1,000 human fighter ships launched from the larger vessels. They moved like a swarm of angry bees, surrounding the 3 hegemony ships. The aliens had never seen anything like it. This is your last warning, Admiral Carter announced. Leave now, or we will consider you a threat to Earth. Vex Prime made a fatal mistake. The hegemony does not retreat from primitives. All ships open fire. The 3 alien vessels fired their weapons at the human fleet. But the humans were ready. Their shields absorbed the attacks easily. 2 years of studying hegemony weapons had taught them exactly how to defend against them. All ships return fire, Admiral Carter ordered. What happened next shocked the galaxy. The human fleet unleashed a storm of weapons fire that turned space white with energy. The human ships fired missiles, lasers, and particle beams. They used weapons the hegemony had never seen before. The first hegemony ship died in 30 seconds. Its shields collapsed instantly, and human missiles tore through its hull. The second ship lasted 1 minute before it exploded in a ball of fire. Vex Prime's ship, the largest of the 3, fought desperately, but it was like a single Volf fighting a pack of lions. Human fighters swarmed around it, hitting it from every angle. The larger human ships fired their main guns, punching holes through its armor. This is impossible, Vex Prime screamed over the radio. How can primitives have such weapons? We're not primitives, Admiral Carter replied calmly. We're humans, and we remember our dead. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the 3 hegemony ships were nothing but scrap metal floating in space. The human fleet had lost only 3 ships, and those were damaged, not destroyed. Rescue. Teens, collect any survivors, Admiral Carter ordered. I want to talk to them. Captain Mike Torres led the rescue mission. They found 12 alien survivors in escape pods. The aliens were terrified and begging for their lives. Please don't kill us, one of them said. We were just following orders. We don't kill prisoners, Captain Torres replied. But you're going to help us end this war. The survivors were brought to Admiral Carter's ship. She questioned them about hegemony forces, their bases, and their plans. What she learned made her smile. The hegemony thinks they're the strongest force in the galaxy, she told her officers. They've never lost a battle. They've never even been challenged. They have no idea what's coming for them. Commander Thompson asked, What are your orders? Admiral, send a message to Earth, tell them the first battle is won, then prepare the fleet for departure. We're going to visit every world the hegemony has conquered. We're going to free every species they've enslaved. And we're going to show the galaxy that the age of the hunters is over. The news of the victory spread quickly. On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. But Admiral Carter knew this was just the beginning. The real war was about to start. All ships prepare for hyperspace jump, she ordered. Target the hegemony home system. It's time to take this fight to them. The human fleet disappeared into hyperspace, leaving behind only the wreckage of their enemies. The Deathworlders were coming, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The news of the human victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. For the first time in hundreds of years, conquered species began to whisper about hope. The impossible had happened. Someone had defeated the hegemony. Admiral Helen Carter received the first alien message 3 days after the battle. It came from a world called Kepler 442, one of the first planets the hegemony had conquered. Unknown human ships, the message said in broken English. We heard what you did to the hunters. Please, if you can hear this, help us. We have been slaves for 50 years. Our children do not remember freedom. More messages followed, hundreds of them. Every enslaved world in the galaxy was calling for help. Admiral Carter read each one carefully. Admiral, Commander Nick Thompson said, We're getting signals from 12 different star systems. They're all asking for rescue. Then we'd better get to work, Admiral Carter replied. Plot a course for the nearest slave world. It's time to start the liberation. The human fleet jumped to hyperspace, heading for the Centauri system. Intelligence. Reports showed that the hegemony kept a major slave camp there. 10 million aliens from dozens of different species were forced to work in the mines. When the human ships arrived, they found a heavily defended world. Orbital defense stations surrounded the planet. A dozen hegemony warships patrolled the system. But the humans were not the same people who had sent out the peaceful Voyager. All ships, attack formation, Admiral Carter ordered. Remember, there are innocent people on that planet. Watch your fire. The battle was swift and brutal. The human fleet had learned much from studying hegemony technology. They knew exactly where to hit to disable enemy ships without destroying them completely. Captain Sarah Kim led her fighter squadron against the orbital stations. Lightning Squadron, follow me. Let's clear a path for the rescue ships. The hegemony. Defenders fought desperately, but they were outmatched. Human weapons were more advanced, human ships were faster, and human tactics were more clever. Within 2 hours, every enemy ship was destroyed or disabled. Landing teams, prepare for surface. Operations, Admiral Carter ordered. General Alex Torres, you're in charge down there. General Torres led 5,000 Marines to the planet's surface. They found alien slave camps that stretched for hundreds of miles. The conditions were horrible. Millions of beings lived in tiny cages, forced to work 20 hours a day with little food or water. My God, Torres whispered when he saw the camps. How could anyone do this to innocent people? His soldiers began freeing the prisoners immediately. They gave them food, water, and medical care. Many of the aliens had never seen humans before, but they knew these strange warriors were their saviors. An old alien approached General Torres. He was barely alive, his body broken by years of hard labor. Are you the ones who defeated the hunters? He asked weakly. Yes, Torres replied gently. We're here to free you, all of you. The alien began to cry. I have waited 60 years for this day. My children died in these camps, but I lived to see freedom return. The liberation of Centauri was just the beginning. Over the next 6 months, the human fleet visited every slave world they could find. Each victory made them stronger as more freed species joined their cause. The Colorians, the same species Captain Morrison had died to protect, became humanity's closest allies. Zefka, now old but still alive, met with Admiral Carter on Earth. Captain Morrison saved my life, Zefka said. He died so that you could learn about the hegemony. Now you have saved my entire species. We keep our promises, Admiral Carter replied. We said we would protect you, and we did. The final battle came 1 year later. The human fleet, now supported by ships from 50 freed species, arrived at the hegemony home system. The enemy had gathered their entire remaining fleet, over 300 warships from 12 different species. This is Admiral Carter to all hegemony forces, she broadcast. You have one chance to surrender. Release all your slaves, return all stolen property, and disband your alliance. Do this and we will let you live. The response came from the hegemony's supreme commander, a being called Overlord Krasvex. Humans, you have been lucky so far. But here you face the full might of the hegemony. We will crush you and enslave your entire species. I don't think so, Admiral Carter replied. You see, we brought friends. The space around the human fleet, filled with ships. Vessels from every species the hegemony had ever conquered appeared. Hundreds of different designs, all flying together under human command. Impossible, Overlord Krasvex said. Those species are weak, they cannot fight. They couldn't fight alone, Admiral Carter said. But they're not alone anymore. They have. US, the final battle lasted 3 days. The hegemony threw everything they had at the Alliance fleet. But the humans had taught their allies how to fight like Deathworlders. They fought with fury and determination that the hegemony had never seen. When the battle ended, the hegemony was finished. Half their ships were destroyed, and the rest surrendered. The age of the hunters was over. Commander Beth Rivers, now in charge of the occupation forces, oversaw the dismantling of the hegemony's government. "What should we do with the leaders?" she asked Admiral Carter. "Put them on trial," Carter replied. "Let the galaxy see that justice has returned." The trials lasted 6 months. The galaxy watched as hegemony leaders were judged for their crimes. Some were executed, others were imprisoned, and a few were pardoned in exchange for helping rebuild the worlds they had destroyed. Colonel Matt Johnson, now military governor of the former hegemony capital, stood before the assembled representatives of 200 species. "Today, we announce the formation of the Galactic Defense Alliance. Every species that wants peace and freedom is welcome to join." The ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. Beings who had lived in fear for centuries celebrated their freedom. Children who had been born into slavery saw the sky for the first time. Admiral Carter gave the closing speech. 2 years ago, we received a distress call from a small ship in deep space. That call cost us 47 brave souls, including Captain Jake Morrison and his crew. But their sacrifice was not in vain. They showed us that evil exists in the universe, but they also showed us that good people will always fight back. She paused and looked at the camera. The Voyager's crew died protecting 3 alien refugees. Today we have freed 3 billion beings from slavery. We have shown the galaxy that humanity keeps its word. When someone calls for help, we answer. When someone threatens the innocent, we fight. And when someone needs protection, we provide it. The crowd cheered for 10 minutes. Representatives from every freed world signed the Alliance Charter. The age of fear was over. The age of human protection had begun. In a small ceremony later that day, Admiral Carter placed a memorial plaque on the wall of the new Alliance headquarters. It read, "In memory of the crew of the UES Voyager, who answered a call for help and gave their lives to save strangers. Their sacrifice freed a galaxy." Captain Morrison's final words, recovered from the Voyager's black box, became the motto of the new Alliance. "We are not alone, and neither are you." The distress signal that had cost humanity its first starship had ultimately saved the galaxy. The hunters had become the hunted, and the Deathworlders had become the guardians of peace.